Here we go. Hello, hello, hello. Hi, Jill. How are you?
I am good and feeling slightly nauseous. Or nauseated, whichever is the correct word.
um, yeah, but don't worry, we don't bite.
No, I know.
Yeah, I think it's going to be like if we were having a coffee date somewhere instead of virtually. But I do have yes, what's left of my coffee as well in my hands, same as you. So if the spoons and the coffee cups will be jingling along the way, everyone in the room, please don't
Yeah,
don't
don't be
take us.
alarmed.
Yeah, don't get alarmed. We're just enjoying ourselves here on this lovely afternoon. Um,
It's a lovely afternoon.
yes. So Jill, hi. I
Hi.
love I love that you're here because, well, as you know as well, often when asked to exchange thoughts, it feels like we are living in each other's brains.
Yeah, it's
um,
so weird.
yeah, and that's why I decided to invite you here, and that's why and you said yes, which is amazing. And this week you also you wrote the article some time ago, but this week
Yeah.
it was published on the website. And if some of you hasn't read Jill's article, please do yourself a favor and go do that. Um, I'm still lost for words, so I can't. I literally feel I will be doing it a disservice if I was to try and explain what it is about and all the emotions that it entails.
Mm.
So just do yourself a favor and go read it.
Yeah, because I can't remember. It was written in a very, immediate kind of
Mm,
thing, and then sort of
a surge, yeah.
edited a wee bit later on, not too much because it was for Franca.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, obviously the feelings have moved on since then. But yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of it still sticks. But
Have
yeah,
you? So I'm interested. So, for example, when I'm writing something, as you know, like I write it also just like it seems like a surge of energy, and then it's on the paper suddenly. I
mm.
never reread it. I just schedule it or publish it immediately.
That to me is tremendously brave.
So yeah, I mean, thank you, I guess. But yeah, that's a way of let's say fighting the perfectionism and fighting the
Mm.
imposter syndrome and all of it, because I know that the second I will start rereading it, I will just overthink and never publish anything ever again. So
Sure.
this is my way of sticking and being accountable to actually writing and posting stuff, because
Mm.
if I include my brain in the process, then shit goes south. But you mentioned that your thoughts have kind of not necessarily have shifted, have moved from
Yeah.
where you were when you wrote the article. Can you kind of explain more on that?
Yeah. I've been on a. I really wish we could find another word for journey
Hmm.
because it's just used a lot. Anyway, it's been a journey um, where I've been um, trying to. So I had a thing during lockdown where I thought I'd had a heart, or was thought I was having a heart attack.
Oh wow.
It wasn't a heart attack. It was a Pilates pull. I'd pulled some, but it was just exactly where a heart attack would be. So my mum was stressing me out, saying, go and see the doctor. And I was like, no, it's fine. And then so I went to out of hours and ended up in A&E in an ambulance, where they didn't think I'd had a heart attack, but obviously because they had to check. Um, and so that kind of not so much because it really, really wasn't a heart attack at all. It was a Pilates stretch gone wrong. Um, but it was more the fact that it could have been a heart attack.
Yeah.
That was kind of where my brain, like, I wouldn't have been surprised if they had said, yes, you've had a heart attack, because I'm overweight, 48, and just, yeah, wasn't sort of the healthiest. I mean, I do a lot of Pilates, obviously, for the stretch, and dog walks and stuff. So it just kind of shook me a little bit and made me kind of think about like losing weight just from a health point
Mm.
of view. Um, so I kind of looked at different diet programs. I didn't want to do Slimming World because I tried that for like 2 weeks and went, this makes no nutritional sense to me. So no, I'm not doing that. So I did find a program that did help, but then Christmas came around, like this. So this was like last year, and it kind of, so a lot of the weight went back on again, and I realised that how I'd been eating still wasn't sustainable.
Mm.
So it's kind of been a bit of a journey trying to find a diet that's not a diet,
Okay.
and some way that I can go through life without having to think about food, or
Mm.
not necessarily that I'm not like snuffling around like looking for food all the time, but it's just when I look at food, sometimes I'll be like scared to eat it,
Yeah.
because of what it might do, or if it's not nutritional enough, or how I'm going to feel afterward. It just, some food stuffs, because of the way it's been portrayed, like in the press and things, you kind of get a bit terrified of eating certain things. So yeah, so that's kind of why. And then yeah, so it was a bit of a realization. So that the article came from me journaling one day. And I've never actually taken an article from my journaling
Mm.
before, so that's like this raw stuff that comes out. So I'm actually doing that a lot more now, and definitely for you, lady.
Yay!
A lot of them are coming out the journal.
I love
Um,
it.
so it's yeah, so it's kind of a moving, progressing thing. And since I wrote that article, I did a non-diet method with Josie Buck, who's part of the Upfront community as well.
Hey, Josie.
Um, she's not here. And yeah, so she talked a lot about um, more the mindset, which is definitely what I need,
Mm.
rather than like restricting food. It's not about the food, it's about how I eat it, when I eat it, how much of it I'm like
Yeah.
shoveling it in. So yeah, so because I've done her course since I wrote that, things have kind of shifted and I'm not quite so foodie.
I before I respond, I just realized I'm recording the audio, not recording the video.
Recording in
Uh-oh.
progress.
So there you go. I hate when this happens, but okay, I won't. I'll try and not beat
Woo!
myself. Woohoo! Yeah, I'll try not beat myself because of it. So yes, it's really a lot about mindset and like I have so for me emotions like these come up from a different perspective. Like when people see me, they usually tell me that I'm too skinny or very skinny looking,
Mm.
or that I don't eat enough food. Um, but I I I kind of don't eat a lot of food because as soon as I eat some things, I look like I'm 7 months pregnant because I
Yeah.
get I get such a reaction from
Mm-hmm.
and now I'm trying to figure out from what I'm like experimenting and doing an elimination diet.
Yeah.
But for me now, food means like when I eat food, it feels like my own body is attacking me.
Mm.
And just kind of exploring that is, yeah, I haven't noticed how stressful it's been until
Mm.
literally this morning. How when I and last night when I was reading the article that I published today, how my anxiety on the surface level was actually very kind of a very complex combo of
Mm.
everything that's going on, but predominantly because of the constant struggle that, like, I know that I can eat a banana and chicken breasts and I'm going
Yeah.
to look okay, but literally anything else, I just look like I have gained 10 kilos in my waist
Mm.
and I don't feel comfortable. But then I
Yeah.
also don't, like, I hate saying or having or feeling like I look uncomfortable, because why is that, right? So why do I need to, like, what does comfortable mean when it comes to our own bodies and body image, right? So I'm trying to kind of separate that my feeling of being uncomfortable comes from me actually kind of feeling like I have a stone in my stomach, and that
Mm.
that it's a health issue rather than a body
Yeah.
image issue,
Yeah.
because none of us should be made feel uncomfortable in
Mm.
our own bodies.
No. No. See, that's it. Again, same brain, different bodies. But that's it's the same. So yeah, you'll be experiencing the same thing where you're just like, oh God, I have to think about food again.
Yeah,
And yeah, it's tiring,
yeah,
really, thinking
and
about what's going to. Because I mean that I'm imagining that that's not comfortable when that bloat happens. It's uncomfortable as well as feeling like your clothes pinching and.
yeah, it's just like, for me the reaction is kind of very sudden, like within minutes of eating
Mm.
something that's not suiting me, I start getting, I literally feel like my stomach is up to my teeth, like I
Mm.
just get like 3 extra rolls in my waistline, like when I wake up in the morning I almost can see my abs, but by
Mm.
5 p.m. it's like
Yeah.
I literally, it looks like I'm carrying twins from,
Yeah.
if I've eaten something
Mm.
that's not kind of, yeah, that's disturbing my stomach basically.
Mm.
And it's really easy then to go into self-sabotage, because what happens is
Yeah.
I still have no idea what helps. I get sick of eating chicken breast and bananas the entire
Sure.
day, and then I don't eat because I can't eat anything and I don't
Mm.
want to feel that way. But
Yeah.
then it's 7 p.m. I haven't eaten properly, and then I'll smash out the entire chocolate.
Yeah. 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 It's I call it the fuck it moment.
Recording stopped.
Where you just kind of go fuck it and you just start. Yeah, because I think it's because you're just tired and you just want a break, and so you just go fuck it and start
Recording in progress.
shoving everything.
Sorry for the notifications. Yeah, my Wi-Fi went down for like 5 seconds, so that's hint notifications.
Yeah. See how I rocked that though? Totally
Yeah.
didn't acknowledge the Zoom had gone down. Yeah, so I think it is. It does. You get to the stage where you just go fuck it because you can't be arsed thinking about it anymore,
Yeah.
and then yeah, it's full on self-sabotage. So I think, yeah, one of the things that was one of the things that came up with Josie was to just take tiny steps, um, and not overwhelm yourself with trying to think about it too much,
Hmm.
and just to let yourself off.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
I've I've read um I read a thread this morning in Upfront, and hello to all of our Upfront ladies, and hopefully hello to all of the future Upfront ladies from Bond 5 listening to this later in
yeah.
the podcast, um, about the symptoms of perimenopause. And what that brought up to me is just how discredited women are in the healthcare system and everything that we feel. And it's just like it's mind-boggling. So when it comes to
Mm.
PMS or PCOS or endometriosis, perimenopause, menopause, all of these things that impact our health so deeply, and when we are just being told to brush it off, to lose some weight,
Yeah.
go stress less,
Yeah.
don't be so stressed. You should change your lifestyle, and then
If
everything
only
will
it was
be
that
good.
easy.
And then what, as a consequence of that, and I felt that approximately this time last year, when I was literally going from one OB-GYN to the other, I, I just broke down and cried because I felt like my body was broken and everyone else is telling me nothing's wrong with me. All of the tests were proved
Mm.
regular, and then here I was crying from pain 2 out of 4 weeks in a month, every month,
Yeah.
having lacking, to say the least, quality
Yeah.
of life, relationship quality as well, right? It impacts so much of our personal and business lives. And yeah, I'm just very irritated and agitated how how we're not getting a voice
Mm.
in general, especially when it comes to our own problems. Whereas, yeah, it's men can get the Viagra over the counter, and I can't get my medicine or sorry, or other things over the counter, because we should just brush it off and stick to it.
Yeah. I've been absolutely amazed how the difference between how my daughter's been treated now she's 17 to how
Mm.
she was treated as a child,
Mm.
which, was like a year ago. Um, it's just like she's properly been dismissed a couple of times when she's been in, and it makes it so obvious when you see how they treat children, how they look after children, but then as soon as she's sexually active or whatever, she doesn't count as being important. It's yeah, it's shocking. It's really bad.
Yeah, and like it comes, I feel like, I don't know, so because we've kind of moved from, food and diet to general healthcare,
Mm.
just, yeah, it's just painstakingly obvious how um so the symptoms of many of these things that we've talked about are actually really, really similar, because it's
Mm.
obvious they have a relationship and something to do with our hormones. And when the hormones are irregular, or and unregulated, then
Mm-hmm.
they kick off this plethora of things which are just somehow so easily dismissed. And I can almost understand if it's a male doctor, but I
Mm-hmm.
had so many experiences with female doctors.
Mm-hmm.
There was I I don't understand what's wrong with you, like me with her, and how
Yeah.
she's not taking me seriously. Because for fuck's sake, you're a woman as well. You
Yeah.
you must know, or at least maybe not from your own experience, but like if you see 50,
Yeah.
100 patients a day, I surely can't be the only one
No.
telling you all of these things. Um, and then the same way, it's so easy to just be like, oh, you can just like get on the pill. Yes, I can,
Mm.
but that only masks the symptoms. I still have no idea what's wrong with me. And being on the pill comes with its own portfolio of things
Yeah.
that's
Yeah. Yes, it does.
that starts, yeah. So it's like I just feel like, similar to, let's say, the societal labels
Mm.
put on me with regards to my personal growth, I feel the same is happening in healthcare as well for women, where
Yeah.
we are just like, oh, he's a, how is it called in English? I have a brain fart. The thing that you cover the wound.
Plaster,
The
bandage.
plaster, yes, the band-aid. Yes, it's like
Yes.
we're just like getting band-aids all over ourselves instead of someone getting, having the courage to actually figure out what's wrong, or at least like point us in the direction of
Mm.
these things could be what's affecting your X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
So we like try this experiment with that, like, so like, does eating food with my blood type make any difference?
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know, and I wouldn't know if I hadn't individually went online and tried to find a solution for my problem. But then, like, even that, like, being a Google doctor is really fine.
Yeah.
But what other option, what other choice are we left with?
Mm. Yeah. I know it's yeah, I found that because I've been perimenopausal for like 6 years, and there's been so many things like I get really sore hands, joints, but it's like when I would be having periods, there's all these symptoms start to come up instead of having a period, and yeah, I've been to the doctor so many times about different things, and they're just like, yeah, it'll go away. Like, it's not though. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's um yeah, it's really bad.
Um,
I don't know what else to say about it because it's
yeah.
so shit. But
Yeah.
it's
And yeah, I just hope that kind of even us to sharing how we feel today
mm,
may make someone else listening to this just a tad bit easier, knowing that they are not the only one going through that and
yeah,
experiencing that. Because sometimes only that um, feeling of almost like a miniature validation of what you're
mm,
feeling is not weird. Other people
yeah,
are going through that also helps, which is um, which is why. So when I was reading your article, as I said, even though I'm not, hello puppy, I'm not going, I'm not going through the exact same situation, but I am
mm,
feeling the same feelings. So there's just like a depth of complexity in the message that comes
yeah,
when you write something from your experience, but then
mm,
people reading can appropriate it to whatever they are feeling.
yeah,
And then it, becomes, and I'm actually getting chills as I'm saying this, but like it brings out just some kind of a collective connection,
mm,
whereas it's like I, I'm not alone anymore, and you feel a bit accepted and like you belong, because for so long we felt isolated in our experiences, and
mm,
we are being told it's weird, we should just brush it off, we are making it up. Like I
yeah,
have a friend who's now suffering a really weird mix of symptoms, and literally her GP told her she needs to go see a psychiatrist because she's making a lot
oh
in
my
her
god,
head. So yeah, so that's why I'm, like, it may, we may feel, us two can now be lost for words and be like, yeah, oh my god, and it's shit, but
mm,
at least someone else can see that at least there's three of us.
yeah,
plus plus more, but like at least
yeah,
there's three of us feeling the same things. And my hope is that it creates some sort of a ripple effect, in a way that the more we speak about it, then the more other people will speak about it and get the courage to become vocal with their friends or family, or
mm,
even reach out to others, and or stand up for themselves and be like, this is like, this is not weird what I am experiencing.
yeah,
I have like, and I have a right to find out what's wrong with me, and that's your job.
mm,
Like that's the doctor's job, right?
yeah,
You
yeah,
need to figure out what's wrong with me.
yeah. Don't just fob me off. I want
Don't
to know
just
what's
fuck.
wrong with me.
Yeah, don't just fuck me off.
Yeah.
And so I'm curious. Um,
Yes.
and I love your bio so much. I wrote that yesterday. You say that you're a disruptor and an emotional work in progress.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate more on that? How did that came to be?
Um, I changed my profile to say that I was a disruptor because during an event with Nigella Dales on
Mm-hmm.
Upfront, um, she had actually pointed out that I was a disruptor, but not a disruptor in the way I wanted to be a disruptor. So I was a disruptor by using joy, and being able to interject. Uh, it was just it was a very beautiful thing for her to say. So it kind of made me a bit teary when I think about it. But she basically just said that whenever she'd seen sort of my interactions and things, she felt that I was disrupting with joy. So that's when I put disruptor on. And yeah, emotional work in progress has, I mean, it feels like a small, that's no covering it. I am properly, fully, deeply into getting to know myself better, make changes to the things that I don't want to hang on to, like old, because I was brought up in the 70s and 80s, and there was a lot of, I mean, ugh, patriarchal nonsense that I've been brought up with. So trying to shed that and just become the person I'm supposed to be or who I need to be. And I've sort of committed to myself to do that and to continue to do that. It's not going to end. Yeah, so that was kind of why. So it's kind of emotional and it's a lot tiring. Um, and yeah, it's a lot to do with boundaries as well and how I speak to myself, like my inner voices. There's a lot of that going on, and just a feeling of worthiness has come over me that wasn't there before. So yeah,
I have two questions, and that's if you're okay with sharing. Um,
sure.
so the first one is, what do you remember? What was the trigger point for you to start intentionally and purposefully becoming like so when so what made you kind of figure out everything I've been brought up with is
Mm,
shit and it's not serving me, it's not how it's supposed to be, and then
yeah.
I will commit to doing things that feel and align with me so that I figure out who I am.
I think. Well, it was definitely lockdown. Was a big trigger. I think there was something there before, but I hadn't. Like most people didn't sort of take the time to. You didn't have the time to just sit and think or yeah, work out what you want to keep in your life and what you don't. And yeah, after the initial shock of lockdown and realizing that I had no work to go to, and I wasn't furloughed because I was self-employed, that panic for a few weeks, I kind of settled into thinking, well, actually, I didn't like doing that, so I'm not going to, when we come out of lockdown, I'm not going to do that again. So there was just loads of shifts and like thinking about who I was without work, because all I had was work up until that point. Um, so yeah, so that was the main trigger trigger shot that got the whole thing moving.
And so how uh, I'm trying to phrase the question, but it's something along the lines of how did you start feeling that, so like how did you almost like define that this change needs to happen because of everything that
Mm.
we've known so far is bollocks.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, well, because I mean, Lauren Curry is going to hate this, but I started out at the beginning of lockdown. I've got a friend that does tarot reading, and I started doing it was like a tea and tarot. So it was like a Tuesday and a Thursday morning. It was me, her, and her friend in Liverpool. We used to do like tea and tarot mornings, and a lot of stuff came out in that because we talked quite deeply. There was a lot of like personal stuff going on for the other two as well. So we had really deep conversations that really got me and them through the beginning of lockdown. So we did that for, I can't even remember, 3 months maybe, or basically until things started to kind of open up a wee bit more and folk were going back to work and stuff. But yeah, it was like mini sort of therapy sessions where we all took a shot
Yeah.
at saying what was going on for us that week or that day.
Yeah.
And then a bit of fun with the tarot, which kind of pointed us in the direction of what we were going to talk about. So yeah, so that was kind of the sort of start of like how, like I knew I wanted to do changes, but this was this thing that gave me the tools to just start.
Yeah.
Yeah, otherwise I would, because I think it was my friend in Liverpool that had recommended a book that basically triggered the whole book thing that's now occurring, where I just buy books all the time. And it was to do with money. It was I think it was I'm a Badass that making money or something like that. She'd recommended that because we were talking about like money issues and things, and yeah, so that was basically the what do you call it, gateway drug, if you like, to all the other books, and probably to joining up front as well, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I know, yes, so what you mentioned, there's like, there almost feels like there's a big a polarity between people who do believe in a, I don't know, higher energy or tarot
Mm,
or
mm,
horoscope or whatever,
yeah.
and then people who are just like, that's just bullshit and please don't believe in that. The way I see it is kind of a neither or situation, because if you look at it solely from output, and of course this goes away from when you are being almost manipulated by some people
Yeah.
and taken advantage of. I'm not
Yeah. Yeah.
not
No.
enforcing that, no.
Yeah. No.
The
Let's
record,
not.
not enforcing that. But if we look at the output, so for some people it can be faith, for some people
Mm,
it's, yeah, a tarot reading, for some people it's reading something like a daily horoscope or I don't know.
yeah.
But so it, for me, I think it's almost it what's important is whatever the trigger is, you
Mm,
basically end up almost like meditating on
yeah.
your inner knowings, because you so it could be just like a random piece in the newspaper as well, but you're going to pick
Mm,
out something that sticks with you that day,
yeah.
and then that's actually what you're coming from. And I
Mm,
understand, I kind of understand Lauren's point, and I think it makes
yeah.
sense
Yeah.
because she's like,
Yeah.
universe isn't accountable for that, like you did all the
Mm,
work, so like don't
yeah.
say it's the universe's thing.
Yeah.
And that's like a big step, because we are always told that what we accomplished as women, that's not on
Yeah.
us, that's always we got
Yeah.
lucky, it's on others, all
Yeah,
of these things.
for sure.
Yeah, and
Definitely.
that's why like I 100% agree, but I'd still
Hmm.
I don't see the point in vilifying. And like sometimes I can like I might get like a guilty feeling almost of sorts of sometimes being, yeah, having thoughts triggered by things like such. Like
Mm.
I don't believe in anything per se, but
Yeah,
I
same.
don't not believe or
Yeah, I
believe.
would. I mean, I would class myself as an atheist.
Yeah.
Um, but I kind of like the. I mean, I'm a visual person, so tarot cards are bloody delightful to me. They're just like they're. They remind me of like children's books when I was little. I just used to sit and
Mm,
stare at the illustrations for ages. So it's kind of the same. And you get some beautiful like artist made packs and things. So it's like totally lovely. And yeah, but I mean, I'm still massively, massively skeptical. But I think it is quite on a like basic level. It's a good tool to get your thoughts going and get conversations happening, and that's kind of how it was used um, for me. And also, I kind of liked thinking about the bigger, like the tides and the I kind of liked all that, like sort of connecting it, because I'm like I say, I would class myself as an atheist and not at all spiritual, but I kind of liked getting that little bit of spirituality. It kind of felt quite nice to just be able to be a bit floaty.
yeah.
And yeah, definitely, because I did start meditating about that time as well. So, and doing visualizations and stuff,
Yeah.
which that is there is science behind how that works. So
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, no wonder I relate to everything you've just said. um, for me, I remember like as a kid, I had really, really strong visualizations of what I will accomplish in life.
mm,
Um, Part of those were almost like daydreaming because I was just like in an insufferable situation I needed to get out of in my mind. But it's like
mm,
I always had that really, really strong inner peaceful feeling within myself that I can do all of those things that I visualized.
mm,
Um, and then throughout life, it's like those get smaller and smaller, quieter and quieter, because you get bombarded with how you can't do something, you're doing this wrong, you're not supposed to do
mm,
that, blah 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 blah. And then that image, that visualization fades away that you've had throughout your whole life. So now for me, I'm almost like trying to reverse engineer it because I
mm,
know I had it at one point.
yeah, yeah,
And I'm now trying to, yeah, just like uncover all of these things that were put on me by other people, by the
mm,
society, by my parents, by my family, everyone, all of the expectations. And yeah, I don't necessarily care which medium or mediums I
mm,
arrive towards that point, because if I only act like me, and that means really, really analytical and highly logical,
mm,
it almost feels like I'm just like using my brain, whereas I should be using my entire body.
mm,
It's a weird feeling discussing this, and talking about this out loud, because yeah, it kind of, it sounds woo woo, but I
yeah,
but I just don't like, it's weird, but I think that what the actual relationship is that once once we start overthinking, once we start being overwhelmed with how things are going to go, once we
mm,
lose up the control, that's when things start happening. Because
yeah,
I read the Instagram post from one account that says, it said something along the lines of, the less you care, the more further you can go. And I wanted to share it immediately, but I was like, no, I need to expand on that because people might get it wrong. It's not
Yeah.
that you care less or that you're not passionate, but it's that you're not restricting yourself.
Yeah.
So like I care deeply for everything that I do, but I can recognize that when I start stressing about every single thing, am I doing it right? Am I doing it like, is it perfect? Is it good enough? I'm just becoming more and more frustrated and I'm not getting things done because I'm obsessing over them and overthinking them.
Yeah.
But if I just let it go and then kind of try to find that tranquility spot within me,
Yeah.
inside my body,
Mm.
then the doors literally start opening up. But I think that's just because I'm not hyper focusing on only one thing. So my brain is not like
Mm.
in a tunnel vision mode, but rather now like it's a level playing field and I can see further because it's not dark. I'm not in the tunnel. I can see
Yeah. Yeah.
very far away and I can look around and see what's happening. Whereas
Mm.
before I couldn't do that. So I think that's kind of that relationship in, yeah, kind of not caring, being almost like spiritual, but like then again, like
Mm.
it's not spiritual. Your mind is still the one perceiving all of that, right?
Yes.
But
Yeah.
just like you need to let go of the perceived control that you think you have.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my God. So hard with this appreciating. Uh, Literally, like 2 days ago, I made a decision, which I'm not going to share here because I haven't told the people that it involves yet, that I'm going to not do a thing. And it was like I was gripping the ledge of something and I was like trying to hold on to that thing. And then as soon as I decided that I wasn't going to do that thing anymore, it was like, woo, and just kind of falling back into this and just absolutely trusting that everything was going to work out and it was going to be fine. And as soon as I did that, it was almost like everything became easy. And I've been waiting because I keep hearing about this. It's going to be, everything should be easy. Let's make it easy. And I'm like, where's this easy? Where is it? And then literally 2 days ago, just like Tuesday was like one of the best days I've had in a long, long time. It was so good. So many tiny wins, big wins, and tiny. It was just so good. And then, yeah, even like this morning, I was on hold to sort out my daughter's phone with EE, and it was just like I had the speaker on and the music was going, and I was making my porridge, and I was like, oh God, I hope
I think we may have lost.
it's slotted. Everyone's slotted. It was lovely. So long may it continue. I just keep imagining myself letting go of that edge,
Yeah,
and
I think so. One realization that helped, one realization and one quote that helped me in doing that is, so the thought is, uh, you you are not your thoughts, you are the thinker of your thoughts,
yeah.
but like in a way that you can't trust everything that you think, because yeah, our mind is so complex and it can like create scenarios that aren't real
Yeah.
basically. And so we need to have, yeah, this kind of um I don't know, observation almost of, okay, so here's a thought. I am not this thought. Like this thought doesn't equal myself. I am the observer of my thoughts,
Yeah.
which means I have the complete power and autonomy to either just like let it go or entertain with it. And I know that for me, because I was exercising such control, or trying to exercise such a control over my thoughts, I was like, my mind sometimes felt like I'm in the inside of a washing machine. It's kind of set on like 90 degrees and two spin cycles, because like I was trying to grasp and catch every thought, which is just like impossible. And then I would feel anxious and scaring at panic attacks, because my body was physically feeling out of control, like something's attacking me. And hello, I was attacking myself basically. And then I read that in a book, and that's something that within like the next day almost my coach told me, just like in a different way. I was like, I needed this lesson twice, it seems.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, and then sometimes later I saw a quote that says, "Observe, don't absorb." And I would just like use my other wrist to tattoo that, because like I just need a constant reminder of things as such. And just like for reference, I have on my underarm, I have "Be still and pace yourself" tattooed, because I'm just like I'm always running away from, well, myself. So
Yeah, sure.
yeah, so I saw the "Be still" quote in a book, and then "pace yourself" is something that Liana tells me constantly. I was like, this is really keen on having tattooed as a reminder
Yeah.
permanently on myself. So I did.
It's like instead of post-its, just get it
Yeah,
tattooed.
yes,
I
exactly.
need
And
to do the same.
instead of,
I
yeah.
need to get "You are enough" written on my wrist or something.
Oh, so yeah.
Do the
And
thing.
do your thing. Yeah, you are enough. Like, I don't
Yeah,
know.
all of those going on the
All
arm.
of, yeah. Um, uh, like I always found it funny why people said that they need to tattoo something on their forehead as a reminder.
Yeah.
Like, but that doesn't make any sense. You can't see it if it's in your forehead. Or
No.
you will need to tattoo it in the opposite
Yeah, and
direction
you'd
in
have
order
to.
to read it from the mirror.
Yeah, you'd have to be looking at yourself all the
That's
time.
something, yes. Doesn't make any sense. But yeah, jokes aside, yeah. So it's this feeling of almost, like trusting that everything will come into its place is something that's like, yeah, it's made feel that it's very spiritual, but in a
Yeah,
way I also think that it's like it's actually very logical. It's just like
yeah,
it's logical on a different setting.
yeah,
It's not hypervision and tunneling. It's like having the entire field in front of you.
yeah, yeah.
And
It's yeah, because yeah, I think I struggled with that as well because it just yeah at the start it just felt a bit too gaudy, like as in gaudish,
yeah,
like religious, and you were just like, oh, trust it, and you're like, but I think yeah, it is that. I mean, you can't control everything, so you've just got to do what's in front of you. It's like I always think about when I used to work in retail, and if there was a long queue of people waiting at the till, you just had to do the person that was in front of you. You just had to do that job that was in front of you, and then the next person came along and you did that. And it's yeah, that kind of helps me when you're kind of going, whoa, look at all these things waiting to be done.
yes. And I had a thought when you said like it felt godish, that we need to kind of trust the process, trust the universe. I think it comes down to, I think like all of it basically says trust yourself, because as we said, like we may believe in a higher energy, the universe, God, Buddha, I don't know, Allah,
Yeah.
whatever God you feel like, right? Whatever you may be culturally brought up with, whatever you align with. But yeah, it just feels like it all comes down to trust yourself.
Yeah.
we may mask it because it's easier, because we are not easier, because we are brought up in a way that we shouldn't trust ourselves, and that we don't,
Oh my
yeah,
God. Yeah.
we don't know what's best for ourselves. So technically God knows
Yeah.
better than
Oh,
us, right?
yeah.
I feel that whatever our beliefs bring to us is what we ourselves, inner selves, bring to us. Like, it's not a higher power, it's just the power that you have within you, that you're
Yeah.
just labeling as something other than yourself, but it's
Yeah.
technically you.
Yeah, I think self-trust is definitely something that I've been working on, and trusting my gut,
Mm.
which I didn't really do before, but I am fully trying to stay in tune with it. It's not always working. I did do a job recently that I was not enjoying, and my gut was saying, don't do it. But my bank was saying, no, you'd better do it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it just feels better when you trust yourself and
Yeah. Yeah.
not to worry about what other people's thoughts are on why you're doing it.
Yeah. Well, I can, like, I really feel and have been through the similar situation where, like, the money anxiety and the fear of lack
Yeah,
overrides
yeah.
us trusting ourselves. And I was, what was it, like a bit more than a year and a half ago, I decided, well, first of all, I decided to take an extended leave of absence from my work because the pandemic has just kicked in. All of my plans went down the drain. And then Zagreb, where I live, was hit by earthquakes. And I just lost it. I completely lost it.
Unsurprising.
Yeah. But so throughout the time, so from like, it was March until August. So in mid-August, I officially quit my job. And I was like, okay, so I have been living for those 5 months without a salary, based off of my savings, which I was religiously saving because I was brought up that way, to watch over every penny and not spend a lot. And I knew I had, like, some amount of money that will get me throughout the end of the year. So I was like, okay, let's use that to my advantage so that I can only say yes to things that I want to be doing, and exercise saying no just for getting some extra money. Because I felt that deeply, that if I say yes to every single job, I will basically continue to lead the same life, which is,
Yeah.
I was constantly stressed, always burnt out. I had chronic migraines that would last for days, like 5 out of 7 days a week. I had a migraine, and yeah, I can't even say that I was unhappy because I wasn't living my life. I was just flowing through it
Yeah.
from day. I haven't been in. I don't feel that I was present in my
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
Almost, it's like just like some
Mm.
outside feeling of existing,
Yeah. Yeah.
almost as a ghost.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm kind of done with that, and I actually want to start living my life based on my values. So then I had to figure out what my values are, because my worth and
Yeah.
identity were completely related to my academic and work success.
Yeah.
I had no idea who I was as a person. What do I stand? And even today, like, if you like, I hate introducing myself because I can't tell you what I do, because there are so many things that I do
Yeah.
from day to day. It feels like
Yeah.
I'm all over the place. But like, I'm still trying to figure out who I am. Like, who am
Yeah.
I being?
Mm.
Instead of what am I doing?
Yeah. I got asked that the other day in an email, it was for setting up a profile for a thing that I'm a member of, and one of the questions was, "What do you do?" And I'm like, I don't know. I'm kind of pivoting at the moment. I don't
Yeah.
really know. I don't have a job title currently.
I mean, like I've had this conversation on the podcast earlier in a smaller way, which is around. I hate, I hate those labels because I I have so many interests, and
Mm,
sometimes it's a curse, sometimes it's a blessing. I'm very good at many things because I get things logically, and then it's easy for me to apply the same logic just
mhm.
on different things. But like trying to write a CV or introduce myself or anything, like the list is it's big, like it's
Yeah,
very long.
yeah,
Like I could tell you for probably 20 minutes list out all of the things that I
yeah,
did throughout my life, and
sure.
you'd be like, oh, but like, and I think in a traditional way, people will blow me off because I can't commit, I can't focus, I'm all over
Mm,
the place.
think you're flighty.
Yes. Whereas I'm,
We're
and I'm,
we're
I'm,
so
I,
much the same. We're just
yeah.
the same.
and, and what? So if it helps, what I stick to now, I say I'm a problem solver. If you have a problem, I will solve it.
Yo, I'll solve it.
I'm a problem solver because that kind of sits above all of the industries and
Mm,
job descriptions and stuff,
mm,
because almost any job is like problem solving,
yeah.
right?
Or because I think I put on something that I was a solution seeker.
So yeah, that's a good one too.
Doesn't mean I've solved the problem. I'm just
Hmm.
seeking out solutions. I don't have to solve it.
Oh, love those. But I won't steal it from you, but I won't. I'll stick to problem solver.
Totally steal it. You can you can do both. You can be both things. Solution seeker and problem solver.
That's true as well. Yeah. I had a thought going through this. It kind of went away from me. Um, I just want to because it went away. I just want to come back quickly to money,
Mm,
because that's a topic that um, I've had a lot of conversations on in the past, like a month or so.
mm,
I think that, well, of course, the pandemic happening and people losing their jobs, or yeah, searching other jobs, being on furlough and stuff like that.
mm.
It's been a larger issue than ever before, I feel.
Yeah.
Um, and especially again, like if you think, oh, again, like, it comes a lot of to how we were raised up with money. So,
Mm,
like in my experience, money is hard to come by. Money doesn't grow on trees. You need to work very hard to get money.
mm,
And so, to fast forward to today, I have I have had the strength to kind of ignore all of those beliefs that I was conditioned by my family,
mm,
which makes me that today I am earning more in a lesser time than everyone in my immediate family combined. But
mm,
that means that I feel that I don't deserve it because I don't put in as much as effort as they do,
mm.
because I get it more quickly than they do, and I get a bigger sum of money. But like I don't, yeah, I don't invest the same
Mm.
time of effort.
Yeah, yeah. I've got a similar money thing as well that I've managed to work out where my money issues have come from, and it's all stems back to living a pretty almost 1950s upbringing. Because even though it was the 70s and 80s, it was still that generation that were coming out of rationing, and like they were the children of people who were part of the Second World War.
Hmm.
So there was still that feeling of the dad going out to work and mum staying at home, and that's very much what my upbringing was. My mum didn't do anything until she actually divorced my dad when I was 21. Um, And yeah, I realized every sort of money decision, I always feel like it's men. That was my thing, was that men make decision about money, and my dad made decisions about money. He chose where we went on holiday, what we had for tea was always kind of his favorite, you know, like what he suggested as he was going out the door, and then he'd play golf all weekend. So we were, you know, basically my mum was a single parent, being supported by my dad being out at work all day and being at golf. So he just made all the decisions. So that's kind of had a big effect. And also now, you know, he's fairly well off. And because in the past I've had to borrow, I say borrow, he's never asked for it back. I've had to get money off him when I've been in a really tight spot. And he's also put money into my flat. I've always felt like I've had to run decisions, any big, like buying a car, moving house, I've had to run it past my dad. So that's been a big realization for me, is that I don't need to run it past my dad. I'm 48, I'm perimenopausal, for God's sake. I can make my own decisions. So yeah, definitely there's been some shifts with money thoughts recently as well.
Good job. I feel in the midst of it as, yeah, like all the power to my mom. So my father was the drainer of money, basically. My mom worked like 3, 4, 5 jobs just to get us not having electricity turned off from month to month. Then when they divorced, because family laws in Croatia were so shit, the only thing we got from the divorce was an like a summer apartment with a loan on it. So
Okay.
yeah, with a mortgage on it. So
Yeah.
my father got everything, and my mom got the responsibility of paying out a mortgage. That was the will. So that was from my grandmother, my father's mom. So she wanted that place. They couldn't afford it, and my mom could. So she was the one to put in, yeah, her work and then continue. We literally paid it off like maybe 2 years ago, and they divorced in 2013. So like to carry such such immense kind of burden, yeah, all the power to her. And then starting not from zero, but from, yeah, a minus, a negative some amount, what she accomplished so far, like it's brilliant. But at the same time, it's put a lot of a lot. She never kind of expected anything from me or my sister. I say that she's just like blessed to have responsible children as us, because I started working when I was 14, and I worked every summer. So while my school playmates were out, like on the seaside or having parties, I was working 1, 2, or 3 jobs at the same time. And then throughout uni, I was also working and studying full time. Oh, there's a fly near my ear. It's irritating me. Yeah, so I was well, almost from the age of 14 working and studying full time, or like from when I was in uni, I was working full time and studying full time. And everything that I got, like when I would get an award, an academic reward that came with a financial sum of money, I I I gave everything to my mom, because I almost felt obliged to do that. So I was, since I was 18, I'm 100% financially independent. I haven't asked for any money, and I pay for everything by myself. But like even today, is a so my I respect that my mom takes risks that benefit her in her life. So for example, she's now going to into a PhD, but she also doesn't have enough money to cover the costs of the scholarship, or the tuition fee, sorry. So she needs to go into another loan. But then again, like I know how she's what her financial state is,
Yeah.
and then like almost I feel responsible for helping her.
Mm.
And for me, like, I feel that if I'm succeeding, I'm leaving them behind in a way, and that's kind of really tough on me because we have been so close, and we are so close and are helping each
Mm.
other. But yeah, kind of imagining my, even though I know that the more money I make, the
Mm-hmm.
better I can support them, I'm at the same time afraid that if I just continue being the bank, I'm reinforcing their
Yeah.
behaviors, and
Yeah.
I'm kind of not okay with that anymore.
Yeah. You're like my dad, and I'm like you, and I'm like your mum. Because that's, I think that's, yeah, I didn't need to get a job when I was younger. I wasn't really hassled into it. Like, I wasn't, my parents didn't bug me to go and get a job, and I didn't feel like I needed one. Um, because everything I wanted was already, and I didn't really, I didn't have huge demands on
Mm.
like finances of, well, I don't think I did. Maybe I did. Ask my mum. Um, I don't remember being particularly demanding. And yeah, so yeah, I've just always, I feel like sometimes that I was brought up to be, to have a husband. I think that's sometimes how it feels, that I wasn't particularly prepared to be out in the world earning money. So yeah, it was a weird, so yeah, it's just now trying to sort it out and just be independently wealthy, which I'm very much not.
But at least you're like the first step to everything is self-awareness, right? So, and you're
Mm.
doing the work, and I, I because we're one of the same, I have full faith that in a couple of years' time you'll be independently wealthy.
I'm sure I will. I mean, I've already got the pad, so I've already got a flat. I own that, so yeah, it's okay. It's just the day to day finances that are a bit rocky.
Hmm. Yeah, and I kind of yeah, running, I think, expectations and another business, and almost self-funding from the start, and now I'll be able to, like, I'm getting some additional funding in, which is amazing. But
Mm.
yeah, investing, being a free basically being an entrepreneur or a freelancer or an artist, anything that's kind of that you run independently,
Mm.
and that doesn't have a consistent stream of income, just
Yeah.
heightens the money anxiety.
Yes, it does. I'm trying to let it go
Yeah,
today, especially when I looked in the bank and I just keep saying, you've paid all your bills, they're all paid, they're all paid, it's okay, it's fine,
yeah.
you don't need to eat. Eating is for suckers.
Yeah. But yeah, and I know how I, I'm I don't have the fear of kind of looking into my bank account. I have a fear that it's going to disappear without me knowing. So I track everything, just like
Mm.
I have, like money coming in, money going out for until the end of the year. So every single expense that I can predict that I know will have,
Mm.
it's in there. So that I know already how much money I do or don't have by the end of
Yeah.
the
Yeah, I've got a spreadsheet that I've got all my income, because I try and hit a certain amount of money each month.
Mm-hmm.
So I know where I need to like step up or find another
Yeah.
revenue stream from. But yeah, God, money, eh?
Money, yeah. And it's a big lesson, and it takes a lot of energy, yeah, trusting that it will come.
Mm.
Then, like, it's all, I feel it's all interconnected with, like, I'm not putting into the universe that I need more money. I'm just
Yeah,
saying to myself, Franca, well, shit, you need more money, and
yeah,
then that just makes my brain see more opportunity. Like I won't scroll past something that
Mm.
I feel like it doesn't have to feel like a money opportunity. Like, but
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
sometimes some connection, someone will ask you a question and it can
Mm-hmm.
lead to your job.
Yeah,
So just like being open,
yeah.
mind open, having your
Mm-hmm.
mind open to those opportunities and not kind
Yeah.
of just dismissing them, but
Mm.
rather engaging is what
Yeah,
gets you moving forward.
yeah. Yeah, let's not use the manifesting word.
Yeah.
Let's not use that. That's madness.
Yeah. Like then, yeah, just to kind of circle back and finish, yeah, so to finish the circle, basically it's what you're trusting
Mm.
is you're trusting yourself,
Yeah,
trusting that you have all the knowledge already within you that's going to lead you
yeah.
to whatever life you want. And it's like that's no one else's responsibility other than yours, right?
Mm.
And that might be, I think that's almost that's the way in of
Mm.
people who speak about things like manifestation, because yeah, they take, like, knowingly or unknowingly, it's basically taking advantage on how we were brought up, what we said, like we were brought up in a way we that we don't know what's best for ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
So it feels easier to listen to other people who know better and
Mm.
who can help. And at the same time, it's uh yeah, it just like feels like that small gap is what going um it's the easier choice. It's
Mm.
much easier to to put responsibility on the universe, on God,
Yeah,
on
yeah,
whatever,
yeah.
because then if something amazing happens, thank you,
Mm.
universe. But
Yeah,
if
yeah.
something,
Don't thank yourself.
yeah, but on this, at the same time, if something bad happens, you are
Mm.
not the one that did this.
Yeah.
It's not your fault. It's universe's
Mm.
fault. And I think that in itself is why it's so why it's easier to trust
Mm.
anyone else but yourself,
Yeah.
because a lot of people are not ready for the to carry that
Mm.
responsibility.
Yeah, yeah. I know it's funny because there's a lot of things, and when people are talking about manifesting, um, there's a lot of things. How am I putting this? They make set like there's a lot of crossovers. I think with it's just the wording a lot of the time
Yeah,
because it is when the people that are not trying to take your money are talking about manifesting, it's usually is more about positive, being more positive
yeah, positive
in your
psychology. Mm.
yeah, and um yeah, it's just it's all about changing your mindset. So I think I don't know there just needs to be different wording. I think because manifesting it does. I mean, it sounds privileged as well
Yeah,
to because you yeah a homeless person isn't going to sit there trying to manifest a home
yeah.
or it's yeah I have some problems a lot of problems with that um yeah it just feels very middle class.
mm. I Again, lost for words, and I feel the same way. But I feel like we could have like another hour conversation
Yeah,
just on that topic itself.
yeah. We'll be here all
Yeah,
day.
yeah, yeah. That's true. Like from coffee o'clock to tea o'clock to wine
Yeah,
o'clock.
we'll have a chatathon.
But to sum the conversation up, what would you say, Jill, is um, let's say your most recent unsetting expectations discovery? What are you working on currently?
I am currently, this is a very small domestic problem, but I am currently trying to let go of dishes not getting done by my child, or having that need to make sure the kitchen is clean before I do anything, or trying to, because I've recently made myself like 10 minutes, 5 minutes late for things because I've thought for my future self, I'm going to put the dishwasher on. And it's like, well, your future self will be all right if your now self doesn't have time to put the dishwasher on. It's a very small thing, but it is a thing that I've been trying to just look at the mess and go, I'm letting go. Doesn't matter. It's okay. That may not be the deep and meaningful expectation you were looking for.
No, because um, um, again, it just it pains me how similar we are, because I will procrastinate on work until every surface in my area is clean or looks tidy and looks nice, because I can't focus if there's things attacking me
Yeah.
in my
Yeah.
home.
Yeah.
And yes, it's like I'll just respond with a question and a rather challenge in a way that why do you believe that, like, it that one that what you said is not deep, or rather, why would you frame it as
I
small?
do, well,
Because
as I was saying it, I was like, well, that's my expectation that that's not going to come across as being important. So, but it is.
it is, and it's important to, yeah, to so many of us, and it's what we've touched upon earlier. What you said that Josie recommended with the mindset work around dieting, it can easily be applied here as well, which is like,
Yeah.
it's a one single small step, which for you means, yeah, letting the dishes be
Yeah.
unwashed and the
Yeah.
kitchen not tidied up.
Yeah. And
But
also, it's about me letting go of the fact that my daughter hasn't contributed to the
yeah,
household. So it's just because otherwise I'm just constantly angry.
yeah, yeah, and it's, yes, so it's almost like, um oh, I I love this actually, because it's like you're you're at the point where you're deciding, yeah, not to be impacted by the behavior of someone else.
Yeah.
And oh, that's a big one. I don't know why you think that's that's something small, but that's a really big thing, because like that, it's easier for us to continue to go through the day, instead of holding these grudges entire day and then just building them up day after day after day.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's almost as soon as I come in the door, I'll be clocking all the things she's not done, and
Mm,
then I'll just be annoyed. But a lot of the time, it's because I haven't like told her that these things need to be done. I'm just expecting her to do them.
yeah.
So it's just, and that's not a nice way to welcome somebody when you just come in the door. Is to start moaning at them because they didn't put the bin out.
Oh, I thought I before you put it that way, I was trying to think of myself. Have I been on the receiving end? But then just now when you said it, I remembered, like, it wasn't. It's not. It was far way into the past. But yeah, like a lot of the conversations when I was just like a kid living at home, and I would be like, "Why isn't your bed made?" I was like, "Hello, good evening, how are you?"
Yeah.
Could we start with that, please?
Yeah.
um, but yeah, and um, I might I might need to think around, am I perhaps doing the same thing now when I'm the adult one? And am I acting the same way in my relationships? Because that could be the case as well. And that's
Yeah.
really hard to notice without someone else bringing it up. So thank you for bringing it up.
Yeah. That's my Barney alarm clock.
Yes, let's
It tells me he's been ignored for too long.
oh, poor baby. Yeah, so you're going to feed/walk the pupper, and I'm going to close the room. And thank you for everyone who joined live, stayed live for the entire time or for the parts of the time, and for everyone who listened to this in the podcast. Let both Jill and me know what it was basically about the episode, and please do follow us on Instagram, because when I post the video sneak peek, you will love Jill's top as much as I do, because just showcasing it now on the video. I need to find a way to stream this via video as well. Um, it's awesome, and it brings a certain kind of confidence, as well as everything that we've spoken about. So thank you, Jill, for being here today, and I hope you'll have a lovely rest of the day.
Well, thank you for having me, and may you also have a lovely rest of the day.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.